The story takes place in Murim, after the annihilation of Kud Dragon Sect. Even after their clan was destroyed by the demonic sect, the reason they struggled to survive was for their revenge. And now it's time to execute their revenge. A mysterious person in black who is from the Cloud Dragon sect quickly immobilized a sentry. He realizes that it won't take long before they notice the sentry's disappearance. So he must finish his work before that happens. He then swiftly approaches the heavenly demon while he was meditating. Upon his arrival, the heavenly demon says that it is certainly noisy outside today. To think that you're peacefully meditating while your subordinates are dying. You are heartless as ever. Heavenly demon, the guy says. The heavenly demon says that a man wouldn't care about the insects beneath his feet as he climbs a mountain. In fact, he would only stare at the peak, and this how someone reaches the pinnacle of martial arts. The guy introduces himself in front of his nemesis. He says that he is Kang Won-chun, the one who will kill him today. After saying this, he immediately attacks the heavenly with his heavenly lightning fist. "Is that all you got?" the heavenly demon asks as he counters the attack using his heavenly blood-tide art. He tells Wun-chun to watch and learn, and he releases a strong attack that injures his opponent. He says that he will send Kang Wun-chun to his father today. Kang Wun-chun also uses an attack, named Cloud Dragon Divine Fist, transcending with Heavenly Divine Palm, which astonishes the heavenly demon. Since his steel tempering, which makes his fists harder than steel, lost to Wun-chun's bare hands, enraged by the mention of his father, whom he held dear. Finally, Wun-chun was able to hand a perfect hit. He tells the heavenly demon not to talk about his father. Moreover, he says that he is just infecting the same rage of all the people of his clan who have been wronged, with his fists. The heavenly demon speaks in regret that he should have wiped out the roots of the Cloud Dragon sect back then. He says that doesn't know what kind of enlightenment Wun-chun received, but he is honestly surprised. Furthermore, he can't believe a person from the Cloud Dragon sect broke through his heavenly demon blood surge art. Now he has only one option. Wun-chun notices that the heavenly demon is taking out a bottle of elixir and drinking it. He realizes that if the head demon drinks an elixir of that amount at once, he'll undergo demonic QI deviation, and for the next couple of minutes, he would be unbeatable. In a split second, the heavenly demon appears from his back and launches an attack which is unavoidable. At that moment, Wun-chun, when thinks that he is done for, another person creates a barrier around him at the right time and saves him. The mage tells sorry for his late arrival. Wun-chun calls him the Great Mage. He is one who claims to have come from another world. If it weren't for him, Wun-chun says that he would have died helplessly. "Wait!" our MC shouts because he was reading this in novel. He was having fun too. But he didn't like the plot, where a random mage from a different world appear in the story out of nowhere. He thought it was a regular Murim story. What a mood killer. Is the author out of his mind? Another world out of nowhere? How does that make sense? He asks himself. His name is Jin Seo-woon, and he is 23 years old. He was discharged 6 months ago, and he is preparing to go back to college like many people who have completed their service before being discharged. He had a good life plan. He wanted to earn certifications while preparing to return to college and study all the things he couldn't study while he was in the military. But he missed too many fun things in the society. Since he has a bit of money left, he wonders whether he should find a part-time job. As a Murim novel fanatic, he spent a lot of time lost in fantasies of being the protagonist of a Murim world. He enters the gaming cafe to play one of his favorite game, Loyal Ground. He tells the person in the counter to give him 10 hours for now to play as usual. Rather than Murim, he has also sunk hours into Loyal Ground. Even though it was only a game he played a bit here and there during his leaves, after being discharged, he started grinding seriously and became a top 10 ranker in 3 months. He has made some spare change from the tournaments they occasionally hold in internet cafes, too. The game goes as follows. It's a survival game. 100 players drop from the plane. They have to collect the weapons scattered around the map and kill each other until only one person is left. As he lands, he immediately dominates the field, and soon enough, there were only 2 people left. As he gets inside the house with his teammate to check for the remaining enemy player with a skull mask. His teammate gets killed, but lastly, he easily kills the skull mask with a headshot from the back. He decides that he should lock in and start studying from tomorrow. At that time, he gets a message from his mom. She tells him that she has sent his academic fees with some extra money for him to eat something good. She also says sorry for not sending a good amount. Jin Soo-woon says thanks to his mom and informs her that he will sleep soon. He tells his teammates that he is not going to play from tomorrow. As he gets out this place, he thinks that he feels guilty every time he sees his mom's texts since he has been living like this for months now. At his home, Jin sees the news in his web regarding people with mysterious powers who have been spotted abroad. It says that these people are calling themselves players. He clicks on the page, but it shows that it doesn't exist. Did the video suddenly get deleted? He tries to think about it, but then he just decided to sleep. As he gets out of his house, in the morning, he feels something ominous approaching him. As he looks back, a surge of light engulfs him, and he disappears. What was that light? Just because my resolve to study shattered in one day, did I get punished? Jin Soo-woon wonders as he gets swept inside the light. After gaining consciousness, he sees that this area is quite noisy. Some people are fighting and the others are speaking some unknown languages. He thinks that maybe they are cosplayers, and in the next moment, he thinks whether he is in a dream or not. 100 players detected. Suddenly, he hears a voice saying this. Due to the system's initialization, the language synchronization was done. So all of the people are now able to understand each other. Jin notices an elf mage blaming someone named Chiron for bringing him here. Previously, both of them were having a fight, but they also got swept in. Presently, they are blaming each other for this unknown place. The elf mage, named Escrow, gets enraged and starts to fight. He launches a powerful lighting attack towards Chiron. In the next scene, they both get surprises to see that even though Chiron took the attack head-on, he was not hurt. From the sidelines, Jin perceives that the scenarios happening around him is too realistic for a dream. He again hears the voice in his head saying, beginning the game. It includes that this game will have easy level difficulty. Their mission is to get into the top 90. Moreover, the decided map is. The rewards will be awarded to the top 10 and higher. It informs that it is skipping the tutorial. Lastly, it mentions that in the waiting room, attacks between players are neutralized. Jin, for the 3rd time, hears the voice again, but this time it seems that the statue in front of him is speaking that for those accessing. They can obtain items at that place and use them to enter the top 90. Lastly, he wishes all the players good luck. Am I dreaming about loyal ground? Right now? Jin wonders. He perceives that even if this were a dream amidst these absurd humans, he probably will die. But even if this is a dream, he doesn't want to die. At that moment, someone calls him by messy hair. Why do you keep looking around for? Where are you from? An adventure from another world with a long sword asks. To intimidate Jin, the adventurer lifts his swords and brings it near Jin's face. On the contrary, Jin Soo-woon is laughing. Why are you laughing? In this situation, the adventurer asks. Jin thinks that the reason he is laughing right now is because he is dreaming about such a fun game, and with his knowledge of log abilities, he can easily defeat players like them. The first day of the game starts. Jin notices that the other players are descending in crowded areas where there are many items. As per the game, those crowded areas really do have more items, but He thinks it'll be better to start on the outskirts to be safe. He sees a perfect place to land and shout the word descend to land. Upon landing, he feels motion sickness. For now, he decides to enter the house. Suddenly, he hears rustling noise, indicating that someone is approaching him. Jin makes a run for it and enters the house quickly because he realized that if he come across any enemy without having a weapon on him, he is done for. Upon entering, he immediately closes the door and sits down. He wonders whether that sword-wielding guy from earlier followed him. After some time, he concludes that maybe it was just the sound of the wind. Luckily, he doesn't hear any more sounds, so he decides to look for a weapon, and after moving around the house, he gets a heavy crossbow. It was too heavy, but for him, it's still better than nothing. As soon as he equipped it, the way to use it naturally flowed into his head. In fact, he was a South Korean army sergeant in the other world, so it is something that he can handle. He shoots, and due to its recoil, he falls backwards. He sees that this weapon is powerful and will be quite useful if he learns how to use it properly. After that, he looked around more, but couldn't find anything useful. Well, he sees that this map is super big, so that's a good thing. If he doesn't run into an enemy at the start, he can safely farm all over. He then obtains a small-level healing scroll. If he rips the scroll, his S injuries will be healed. He says that he should take more recovery items. Then he notices a purple light coming a book. He obtains Black Star Leader's martial arts book. It's a martial art that lets someone project dark energy through their fingers. Upon opening the book, a surge of light comes out. Slowly the book starts to disappear and its energy gets transferred to Jin. He throws a fork to see the effect of the book, and it was. With this, he has learnt a martial art. He thinks that the fact that there are martial arts books must mean there are magic books. Regardless, he is sure that Cloyd's survival and loyal ground are the same game. Since he has looked all over this place, so he is going to move somewhere else. The sun had already dawned while he was farming. Now he quickly needs to find a place to hide. After walking for some time, he sees that this house in front of him has its lights on. According to him, the fact that the light is on means one of two things. Either there is a rare item hidden inside or somebody's there. He enters the house thinking that he doesn't know how many people landed near him, but in the case that there is someone here, they could either be a complete pro or a complete noob. He doesn't hear anything on the first floor. Are they hiding on the second floor? He wonders. He perceives that he has a weapon, and if he ambushes with Black Star Kai Palms, the martial art he learned previously. Even if the person is a pro, he might stand a chance against them. Upon reaching the second floor, he notices a lantern only, so he starts to think whether this is a trap. He quickly breaks inside the room beside the lantern, but he sees that there is no one inside the house and just put on a show, by himself. In the end, he is relieved that no one is here. In the drawer, he finds the Ring of Strength, which increases the person's strength by 20 when equipped. He wears it and feels some changes. His body feels way lighter, and he can barely feel the weight of the heavy crossbow. He calls stats to see his info. He sees that his stats are pretty pathetic. He says that this ring is cool compared to when he started with nothing. He then decided to venture the first floor properly. He acquires the subspace ring, which allows the user to store items in a subspace when equipped. To store an item, he has to grab the item he wants and say or think of the word subspace. If he takes his other hand and touch the ring while thinking of the item he wants, he can take the item from the subspace. Lastly, if the subspace is full, he cannot store any other items. He calls subspace, and it appears, and he puts some items inside. It feels strange for him, but convenient at the same time, because he doesn't want to carry a bag. Jin thinks that it would be awesome if he could use these items and martial arts in real life. He sees that out of 100 players, only one player has been eliminated. He wanted to farm until there were only 90 people left, but he was able to search houses and obtain a lot of consumable items. He was lucky enough to find many hidden weapons to use alongside Black Star Kwai palms. He thinks he has gone through all of them. Maybe I should get a move on, or would it be better to stay here until it gets bright out? He wonders. Jin realizes that the strong people he saw in the waiting room are striding around the darkness. With his level, he definitely can't beat them right now. But if he hides and get into the top 10, he will be able to put points into good places like today. He predicts that there'll be less people out at night, so he can just go to one more place before the sun comes up. While walking, he says that even though he keeps on moving, he doesn't feel tired at all thanks to the Ring of Strength. But even though his strength has increased, he can still feel hunger and thirst. Perhaps cloyed survival, which is exactly like the loyal ground, but it is similar to reality. Jin feels hungry, but he doesn't see anything to eat. He thinks that surely there will be some food in the city. According to the map, the place he is searching for should be somewhere around here. At that moment, he hears noises of a dangerous wild animal. As he sees that there is a werewolf in front of him, another werewolf ambushes Jin from the back. He successfully dodges the attack by running. While running, he is thinking that he thought this was a PvP game. So he didn't think there'd be monsters here. If he knew something like that was going around, he would have just stayed put. He was still a ranker in name, so it would be so embarrassing for him to die to a mob. He spotted a house, and without further delay, he enters the house and closes the door. From the house, he looks at the werewolves. Judging by how they keep on sniffing around, they must be searching for his scent. Jin's predict. If so, he decides to attack it first. He quickly shots and kill one of the werewolves. Thanks to the Ring of Strength, he can fire with just one hand. Now he just needs to deal with the last one. The other werewolf approaches the house in an instant and attacks. Jin gets slightly injured and he tries to counterattack, but the distance was not long enough to deliver a powerful blow. The werewolf blocks the arrow using his hand and charges straight at its enemy. Is this how I get eliminated? Jin wonders. Not yet. He shouts as he calls for the subspace. He uses the martial arts Black Star Kwai palms with a dagger, which makes a hole in the heart of the werewolf. Jin shouts that he can't afford to lose to a mere underling. As Jin throws, the dagger is pierced the werewolf's heart and kills it. Jin feels relieved and he falls on his knees out of exhaustion. He thanks that god for making the dagger pierce the wolf. As the monster vanishes, a pouch appears. Jin gets curious and opens it. From it, he gets a bottle of water, a jerky. He then starts to eat the jerky to fill his empty stomach. While eating, he begins to search for loot. He finds a piece of armor on the desk. It seems big for him, but wears it. As he wears, the armor adjusted to his size. After that, a panel appears, which says, Advanced Orichalcum Breastplate has been equipped. Your resistance against fire and wind magic has increased greatly. Seeing this, Jin gets happy and starts to find more amazing things. While he is searching, his foot touched something. The items seems transport. He picks it up and sees that it's a cloth. The system appears and gives the description of this item. It's a night cloak. Once equipped, if you stay still in the darkness, you will blend in with it. While hidden, you will not be detected by magic, and the sounds you make will be suppressed completely. Jin finds this item super useful, so he quickly wears it. He thinks that with this cloak he can hide easily and survive for more time. Later, Jin gets out and starts to walk in the forest. As he is walking, he hears someone coming this way. An injured young man is running. Jin uses the power of the cloak to hide himself. He sits behind a tree to see that is happening. The boy gets tired and stands to catch a breath. Jin thinks to attack the boy with his crossbow. He aims but can't shoot the boy as it feels too realistic. He tells himself that it's not a sin, as it's just a game. As he is about to shoot, and Mage appears and throws fire magic at the boy. The fire magic hit on the target and burns the boy alive. Jin stays quiet and sees this. The body disappears, and a chest appears. Seeing this, Jin get 100% sure that it's just a game. The mage walks past Jin and stands in front of the chest. Jin gets impressed to see that the man walked past him without even noticing he is sitting right beside him. The mage opens the chest and starts to look at the items. After seeing this incident, Jin realizes that if he hesitates to kill, he will be the next person to die. So in order to survive, he has to kill and move to a higher place. While the man is looking at the items, Jin shoots the arrow at him. But the man had a magic barrier around him. The arrow hits the barrier and makes small cracks on it. The mage gets scared and starts to cast his magic. But there is problem. The man is unable to identify the location of Jin. Jin again shoots the arrow. The man starts to panic. As if this goes on, the barrier will break soon. The man starts to shoot his fireball. Jin throws his dagger and breaks the barrier. This gives the man a rough idea about Jin's position. However, before the mage shoots his fireball, Jin gives him a headshot and kills him. After that, the chest appears and Jin gets closer to loot them. He starts to put all the items in his subspace. Among them, he got Escrow's necklace. This pure gold necklace signifies that you are a mage of Escrow's magic society. He thinks that it's of no use, so he puts it in the subspace. After searching for a while, he gets a circle's stone. This enables the user to engrave a circle around their heart that allows them to use mana. Once used, Jin can learn the magic of that circle. Seeing this, Jin smiles as now he can be a mage. After that, he empties the chest and starts to move on to look for a safe place. He comes to a town and gets into a house. He sits and takes the circle's stone out and uses it. As the circle's stone is used, Jin gets paralyzed for 3 hours, and as the circle forms around his heart, he feels immense pain. He somehow suppressed his screams and spent the 3 hours in pain. It's morning now. Jin wakes up after a bit of rest. He looks at his status window and sees that there is a new mana stat, and he has now 2 jobs. He then looks at the survivors, but the number shocked him as the number of survivors dropped to 45. He quickly looks at the kill feat to see who is the one who killed the most. In the kill feat, there is only one name, Nam Sagwang. The scene shifts, and we can see the scene of a few hours earlier. Nam Sagwang goes around and finishes most of the player pretty easily. He overwhelms all his opponent with his sheer power. The player begs him, but he shows no mercy upon them. It's day 3. Only 45 survivors are left. In a single night, 54 people died. Jin sees the name of Nam Sagwang, and he prays so that he doesn't meet him. Jin then suddenly realizes that if this goes on, he will be in the 10 top. However, he has to be careful as a killer is running among them. As Jin stretches his hand, he feels a power coming from him. He gets that this power is mana. As he has no magic skill, so he takes out a magic book from his subspace. Magic Book of Wind Ball. It creates a sphere using wind. The number of spheres that you can create increases with the user's power. Jin gets happy to see this, and he quickly learned the skill. Jin then chants the incantation and uses the magic. 4 small spheres of wind appears. Seeing this, Jin gets a bit disappointed. He then throws the spheres at the wall. As they hit the wall, a huge explosion occurs. Seeing this, Jin thinks that this will definitely come handy. But after using this wind magic, Jin feels tired as his mana has hit 0.s time passed. The restricted zone began to appear on the map, and the range gradually shrank. Jin decided to go farming while staying at the edges of the boundary. He gets out and walks through the woods. As he is going, an old man is watching him. The old man thinks Jin is interesting, so he starts to follow him. Half a day later, Jin has come to a new town. He is shocked to see so many chests in a single place. Jin feels the presence of someone, so he uses his wind magic and attacks. The wind balls destroyed the door, but there is no one. At first, Jin thinks that it's his mistake, but after looking carefully, he sees blood. He gets closer to the door and gets that someone is here. He then thinks that his survival comes, first gets out of there. Seeing Jin leaving the injured man come out, he slowly steps out and stands beside the chests. He starts to search for items. At that time, an arrow comes and hit him in the head and instantly killed him. The person who shoots the arrow is none other than Jin. Jin gets happy, and as he is about to loot, the old man jumps behind him and says, "You are pretty skilled." Jin gets scared and turns to attack. The old man told him not to worry as he is just here to get some answers from him. Jin asked who is he. The old man laughs and says, "Would you know if I told you who I am? We all came from living different lives after all." Jin also smiles and thinks that this old man is different from everyone else he has met so far. The old man asks Jin if he has participated in this kind of play before. Play? What do you mean? Jin says, "I've had my eyes on you for a while, and I noticed you adapted pretty fast. I'm sure you already know that this isn't real," the old man says. Jin wonder how come he didn't notice the presence of this old man who has been following him for a while. Jin that tells the old man that it's his first time being brought here, but he has played a similar game in the world where he came from. A game? Is it similar to this kind of playing? How interesting, the old man says. It was getting dark, and the moon is shining in the sky. Seeing this, the old man asks Jin if the moon in his world is the same as this one. Jin replied that his world moon is smaller. After this, they starts to get a bit friendly. They walk, and the old man asked Jin to explain the similar game he has played in his world. Jin starts to explain him the game. After that, as the conversation is getting longer, that man tells Jin that they should go somewhere safer. Jin asked him that how can he be sure that he won't kill him. The old man didn't say anything. He garbs Jin's cloth and drags him. The man travels at a very fast speed, and he bought Jin on top of a tree. There Jin tells him about the game in more details. Hearing this, the old man gets that Jin's civilization is more advanced. The old man then tells Jin that he was planning on enjoying the fresh air on the high mountains for the next 100 days, but he was intrigued by what Jin was doing. So he only decided to talk to Jin because he was curious about why they were brought here. He also tells Jin that he don't intend to harm him, so he don't have to be so cautious of him. Hearing this, Jin also gets comfortable and says he also don't know why they were brought here either. "But didn't you say you had something similar to this back in your world?" the old man asked. Jin says, "That's also just a type of playing, and it's meant to be played only for fun, and people don't die for real. So when it comes to the motives of those supernatural beings who can abduct people from another world, there's no way for him to know." However, Jin tells the man that he is sure this game will serve as a huge opportunity for someone. The old man asked him to elaborate. Jin says, "I am you know already, but by dying here you don't actually die for real. Once you die, you'll be given a rank and a reward corresponding to your rank, and I believe the rewards will be the items you obtain here." Hearing this, the old asked Jin if he mean those things he has on his body, not only these, but even the skills and the martial arts that you learn here. Jin replies. Later on, the two of them talked throughout the whole night. Jin told the old man about the tips and tricks that might be useful in this world, and heard stories about his world. Morning arrived pretty quickly. The old man brings Jin to the ground and thanks him for spending the whole night answering his questions. The man then tells Jin that he will repay him for this, so he asked Jin to tell how he can repay his favor. Jin thinks for a bit and asked, would it be possible for him to learn some of him martial arts? Seeing the determination of Jin, that old man says it's possible. However, Jin must be prepared for the worst. Jin asked what he meant by the worst. The old man gives a serious look and says, I mean death. So, what will it be? The old man tells Jin that he has to pay a hefty price to succeed outside the traditional means. He asks Jin if he is ready for it. Jin listens all of this and tells that elder that people don't die here. This gives the elder a shock. He then thinks for a while and says that he using that method would be possible. Hearing this, Jin excitedly asks the old man if he can get stronger. The old man says that he will give it a try. Saying this, he placed his hand on Jin's head and gets surprised that Jin's internal energy is less than his house dog. The man asked, how could this happen? Jin tells him that, in his world, there is no such thing as martial arts or inner energy. The old man then instructs Jin to sit in a lotus position. As Jin sits, the old man again puts his hand on Jin's hand and says, "You will feel pain akin to death, yet you won't be able to move." Jin asked, what should he do then? The old man tells him to endure it, or else if the procedure fail, he will die immediately. After that, as time goes, Jin's sense starts to develop. He can smell and feel the surrounding better. As everything is going smooth, Jin feels a sudden pain, and as time goes, the pain amplifies. Later, a white beam of light comes out from Jin's eyes and mouth. Jin feels like he is about to die at that time. His pupils gets larger, and it seems like he can see even though his eyes are closed. The pain stops, and the old man tells Jin that the procedure is done. Immediately after that, Jin starts to vomit. The old man tells Jin that he has fixed the flow of the QI, so Jin's body will be different from before. Jin asks the old man, what should we do next? You said you want to get strong as quickly as possible, so I've pushed your soul a bit away and created an inspiratory gate in that space. But those who have bodies full of others' life Q are in an unstable state, and in the end, the harmony of their yin and yang shatters, causing them to lose their martial arts or die. The mind technique I passed on to you allows you to absorb the scattered life Kui like them to increase your inner energy. Hearing this, Jin asked, so I might really die then? You're a bit different since, unlike them, who reconstructed their veins to create a gate, I used your soul for it. You don't have inner energy at all. It's like a blank sheet. Therefore, I've tweaked your veins, allowing you to absorb the life quite harmoniously. The old man replies this and asks Jin he understand why he gave him the mind technique that's forbidden in Zhongyuan? Jin replies that it's because of the game's setting. The old man smiles and says he likes the way Jin catch on so quickly. The old says that yesterday he felt it. The places where people died, there was life key left behind. However, the biggest issue of this mind technique is that you can greatly succeed only through murder. But here, that's not an issue. In order to survive, if you can eliminate others at the end of the 100 days, you will have reached quite a level. Telling this old man says that now he will take his leave. Jin stops him and asks for his name. My name is Jang Dokian. Everyone calls me the Deep Valley Standing Kindly. And the mind technique I taught you is called the White Martial Physique Arts, the old man says. Jin bows down and thanks the old man. Leaving as a last advice, the old man tells Jin to get used to breathing deeply. By accumulating inner energy through concentrating on his dantian, he will slowly get stronger. He then opens the map and says they will meet again when the opportunity arises, saying he jumps and vanishes within a second. Seeing this, Jin only admired the elder. The elder has brought him to the center, so Jin starts to travel towards the outskirts. It took him half a day to reach there. He comes to a town and sees a house with a light. He thinks someone is in there. So he hides with his crossbow in his hand. After seeing no sign of anyone, he starts to move and rushed inside the house. He looks here and there and quickly climbs the stairs and switch off the light. Jin is tired, so he lays on the floor. He feels sleepy, so he puts on the night cloak and sleeps. In early morning, and it's the 5th day of the game. Jin wakes up and hears that a person has come inside the house. The person didn't notice Jin, so he starts roaming around. Jin quickly takes his crossbow and takes position. The man then enters the room, thinking that he will be able to take some rest. However, at that time, Jin shots that arrow at him. The man is a martial artist, so he quickly draws his sword and cuts the arrow in half. Jin quickly takes out the daggers from his subspace and shoots them using his Black Star QI palm technique. The man blocks the daggers with his hand, but Jin didn't give him a second to counterattack. He pushed the man and threw him on the floor. He then disarmed the man by kicking his hand. Jin sits on the man's chest and takes an arrow and shoves it in the head. The kill confirmation comes. Jin Seo Woon Ko's Shui Arong with an arrow headshot. The chest box appears, and Jin can now feels a strange energy surrounding the box. The energy gets into his body. Jin wonders if this is what the elder mentioned, a vitality. As the vitality completely enters into Jin, he feels his power is overflowing, and he wonders at this, what real internal energy feels like. Jin has only absorbed the vitality of one person, but his body feels incredibly light and power is overflowing. He shouts info and the status window appears. He got a new stat called internal energy, and its value is 20. Seeing this, Jin thanks the elder for giving him this amazing technique. After that, he looks at the survivors and gets surprised to see that only 24 players are left. While he is watching this, another one died, and the survivors' count drops to 23. Nam Sagwang is the one who is killing the most. The scene shifts, and we can see Nam Sagwang, he just finished killing someone, and looks at the survivors' count and sees that only 22 players are left. He also sees Jin's name in the kill feat and wonders where he has heard this name before. On the other hand, Jin gets that he has to stay away from this man named Nam Sagwang. Jin barely won against a small fry. He has a long way to go before he can stand in front of Nam Sagwang. Jin then loots the chest box and gets out to go farming in other areas. Jin didn't get anything useful from the chest. He decided to go camping until the number of survivors decreased as much as possible. 1 week later, Jin realized how lucky he was at the beginning of the game. It's partly because he hasn't been able to farm much while camping, but all the loot he has found has been junk. However, thankfully, probably because he has only been moving around the forests on the outskirts of the restricted area, he hasn't encountered any enemies. It's the 12-day Jin kills wild monster for his daily dining. He is now fed up by eating jerky for the past 12 days. There are only 20 survivors left. For a test, Jin puts his hand out of the zone and his hand starts to get numb. From this, he gets that if he goes outside, he won't be able to move. While standing, he sees a huge smoke, which indicates that a huge fight has broken there. The scene shifts and we can see Nam Sagwang. He has been ambushed by a group of survivors. They have no chance of winning, so that are teaming up to kill Nam Sagwang. Even though Nam Sagwang is surrounded, he isn't scared. He thanks everyone for coming in front of him. He then gives a deadly glare and jumps to start his killing. One strike from him is enough to kill a survivor. Everyone gets scared to see the strength of Nam Sagwang. They are frozen out of fear, and Nam Sagwang continues his merciless killing. This wasn't a battle. It was indiscriminate slaughter. Anyone could tell just by looking at the kill log. Barring any unforeseen events, the winner of this game was clearly Nam Sagwang. Jin sees the survivors' number going down rapidly, and he wonders if Nam Sagwang is using some kind of hack. Nam Sagwang KOs 9 survivors in a few seconds. He is fully drenched in blood and gets out from there without even looting the chests. Later at night, a mage named Escrow comes there and he sees a staff that belongs to his friend named Elizabeth. Seeing this, he gets angry and swears that he will surely avenge her. Now only 11 survivors are left. Jin is roaming around in the forest and gets happy that after one elimination he will be in the 10 top. However, he is also thinking that if he has to survive for more, he has to gather some reliable items. While waking, he has arrived in front of a huge mansion. He gets closer slowly, thinking that he will stay here tonight. As he enters, he gets mesmerized to see the items. He finds a really good armor, but unfortunately to wear this, he has to have 110 strength points. Jin's current strength point is 30, so there is no way he can equip this amazing item. As he is searching, he finds a bottle of potion, Elixir of Insight. This elixir that increases internal energy, cooldown of 3 hours upon use. He gets happy to see this item. Later, he carries on his search. He gets a skill book called Unbreakable Fist. He moves on and sees an underground warehouse. As he is about to open it, a huge explosion occurs. Seeing this, Jin quickly gets out of the mansion. He runs quickly and hides behind the woods. He looks forward and gets surprised to see Escrow. Escrow is the one who caused the explosion to kill Nam Sa-gwang. The two of them are fighting. Nam Sa-gwang is injured and can't use one of his arms. This is the first time Jin sees Nam Sa-gwang, and he wonders how can a kid cause such a ruckus. Escrow, the master of the incantation, commands the lighting to strike. His enemy Nam Sa-gwang dodges the attack. Escrow shouts, asking, how long is he just going to keep dodging like that? He tells Nam Sa-gwang to try attacking like he did to Elizabeth. Nam Sa-gwang realizes that Escrow is not just talk. In fact, he has never seen anything like this even in the Central Plains. What truly terrifying power, he wonders. Escrow prepares a huge attack consisting of lightning, saying that he will finish the fight with this one. He releases his lightning storm. Nam Sa-gwang swiftly dodges it and quickly jumps upwards to close the distance with his enemy and goes to strike. Escrow tells Sa-gwang that his attack is not enough to break the barrier. After saying it, he cuts Sa-gwang in half, but he sees that it was just an illusion. It's raining! Is it the magic's influence? Jin So-woon wonders while watching from the sidelines. He notices that this is truly an incredible power. The power overwhelming. Nam Sa-gwang is so strong that it's even affecting the weather. Escrow says that since he can't sense Nam Sa-gwang with item detection, he must have already fled far away. He shouts that he will definitely catch and kill Sa-gwang. In the next scene, we see Nam Sa-gwang escaping the battle since he was heavily injured. While running, he says that, because of the spell-casting guy, he got ambushed this time, but next time, he absolutely won't let it slide. He smirks as he says that he will kill Escrow with my own hands no matter what. First, he decides to retreat and recover. Escrow, who missed Nam Sa-gwang, descended to the ground as he was and disappeared after briefly surveying the surroundings. The reason Jin wasn't caught must be because of the cloak of invisibility. He survived another day like this, since it's usually darkest under the lamp. He believes that Escrow and Nam Sa-gwang probably won't come here for a while. He finds what he was looking for. It could be a vault, or maybe it's a dungeon where they've hidden treasure. Jin decides to venture inside because it looks like no one has been here. While walking downstairs, he is glad that he grabbed that lantern from the house he farmed the other day. Is this just a food storage? He asks himself. Honestly, he says that if there's nothing but food, that would be awesome. 1 hour later, he lies down after having a good meal. He says that it would have been perfect with some white rice, but he also knows that beggars cannot be choosers. He then remembers that he still has to take the elixir, and he also acquired a book of martial arts named the Book of Unbreakable Fists. A fist-fighting technique created in his later years by a man named Manhwa. He devoted his life's experience in martial arts to creating a fist technique that would never lose. But with a record of 1429 wins and 1429 losses, he was ridiculed his entire life, and the martial art died out because he had no disciples. Jin finds it useless, but still he thinks that it's better to learn something than nothing. He decided to put off practicing the martial art and drink the elixir first. Considering the pain he felt when activating the circle stone, it was worth hesitating, but he who was already only thinking about getting stronger, unhesitatingly gulped down the elixir. He feels the mana filling up his lower abdomen. He feels that it's nothing compared to the amount he absorbed earlier. Suddenly, his body felt like it was going crazy, and his movements became sluggish. As expected, he can't move for 3 hours. 3 hours later, it was finally over. Staying still for 3 hours straight was quite exhausting for him. He thinks that he has been hiding in the forest all week, and today it was the great mage Escrow and even Nam Sa-gwang. It's amazing and a miracle that he was able to survive among these circumstances. On day 13, he gets out and sees that only 10 people are remaining. Shockingly, the old man whom he met previously took his own life. How did the old man end up like this? He asks himself. According to him, maybe knowing that there was no risk, the old man chose some ridiculous training method and it caused him his own life. He murmurs that it feels good to be in the top 10, but not like this. Jin notices that the map is already shrinking. He can't get eliminated by getting caught in the restricted area, so he needs to get out of here quickly. For now, he decides to hold out as long as possible without engaging in combat. That's the only way a powerless person like him can climb the ranks. Alas, planning ahead of time always doesn't work because now he has been attacked and targeted by escrow. He says that something triggered his item detection, so he thought it was Nam Zagwang, but now that he sees carefully, it's a face he has never seen before. By any chance, do you know where a guy named Nam Sagwang is? He asks. Additionally, he says that if Jin doesn't know, then he has to die here. Meanwhile, behind escrow's back, Nam Sagwang is smirking and waiting for a perfect opportunity to strike his enemy. Escrow makes it clear that the only way for Jin to survive is by telling the location of Nam Sagwang, and if he doesn't know, he will have no choice but to die. Since keeping him alive will just be a nuisance for escrow. While he is busy talking, Jin notices Nam Sagwang charging from upwards. He attacks but couldn't deal any damage because of escrow's magic barrier. Nam Sagwang informs that he is fully recovered, whereas the mage may be low on mana. Where did Nam Sagwang appear from again? Jin wonders. Meanwhile, Sagwang plans to end this battle soon as he grabs escrow's wand. Escrow, on the other hand, arrogantly says that such a simple attack can't possibly damage him, but to his surprise, he is heavily injured and starts to bleed. Ever heard of Gangi? Nam Sagwang asks. He explains that it's a martial art that few have mastered. He says that he didn't think he would have to use this in this world. You're the first I'm showing this to here, so consider it an honor, Archmage, he says, as he makes a hole in escrow's body. Before launching another attack, he praises the great mage by saying that someone of his caliber could have easily been in the top 5. Jin wonders whether he should consider Nam Sagwang showing up lucky. He decides to leave the place quickly before he gets swept in their fight. As Jin is about to leave, he hears Nam Sagwang telling escrow to die, while he pierces escrow's mana circle with the martial arts. Watching the Archmage. Escrow, who seemed like he would never lose, falls so miserably to Nam Sagwang, a thought struck Jin that overshadowed his fear of Nam Sagwang or his pity for escrow. He wonders that if he could absorb their life force, how much stronger could he become? Where'd the guy who was so confident yesterday go? All that's left is this half-corpse. Any last words before you die? Nam Sagwang asks escrow while taunting that he can't speak because of his situation. Escrow in his last moments starts to speak telepathically since he can't use his mouth. He speaks about Elizabeth, who was his most cherished disciple and was killed Nam Sagwang. Escrow says that when that child wasn't recognized by the academic society and was kicked out of the university just because she was a girl, he regretted not stopping her over and over. Nam Sagwang replies that he doesn't remember her, maybe because she was more like a man than a woman. Escrow smirks while saying that now he can finally shut that filthy mouth of Sagwang's. Immediately after, Jin notices that a meteor is falling from the sky. Nam Sagwang gets shocked because he thinks escrow can't cast any spells. It's the final spell, an Archmage uses in exchange for mana and life force named Armageddon. Both Sagwang and Jin start to run as far as they can. Finally, the great mage takes his last breath thinking about meeting Elizabeth again. Another mysterious elf watched the full commotion from the sidelines. Jin barely survived. He regrets not running away faster because of his greediness of wanting the life force. He takes a healing scroll while saying that he farmed a ton of healing scrolls for moments like these. If he hadn't taken an elixir, he never would have escaped. Even though he has healed, it still hurts so much. He feels that one healing scroll is nowhere near enough. After some time, he was able to breathe properly after taking all the healing scrolls. He opens the player's status window and sees that Escrow really died, but he couldn't see the name of Nam Sa-guang. Then he hears someone saying, "Save me." Jin starts to look around and sees that it's none other than Nam Sa-guang, without his arms, so he can't even rip the healing scroll. Upon seeing Jin, Nam Sa-guang starts to shout, asking Jin to rip the healing scroll. He says that he would make Jin the winner if he helps. Jin, on the contrary, is not even listening since his mind is full thinking about the life force he would get if he kills the person who has the highest kills. He introduces himself as Jin So-woon before killing because he thinks that Nam Sa-guang should at least know the name of his killer. After killing Nam Sa-guang, Jin receives an incredible amount of life force. Last 8 remaining players receive the message of Nam Sa-guang's dead. The mysterious elf says that now that the tiger is dead, the foxes will run rampant. Jin looks at Nam Sa-guang's box. He thinks that Sa-guang must have many valuable items with him. After opening the box, which was more like a treasure than a simple box, Jin acquired many items. Starting with Heiser's ring, which massively increases agility, Dreamer's ring, which massively increases strength, Galen's ring, which massively increases stamina, and lastly, Toha's ring, which massively increases magic resistance. Wearing all of these together, Jin suddenly feels a surge of energy running in his body. So he looks at his stats. He sees that his stats went up by a lot. He shouts that with these stats, his victory is guaranteed. Besides the rings, there were quite a few books of martial arts, but they were all things he couldn't learn. According to him, it seems there must be prerequisite internal cultivation techniques. At that moment, he senses someone approaching him, chanting a fire spell to strike. The enemy, upon revealing him, tells Jin that he can't be that clueless while farming. Furthermore, he claims that maybe Jin has killed the most notorious player, Nam Sa-guang, just by luck and nothing else, but as he finishes talking, he gets shocked to see that his fire magic didn't even leave a scratch on Jin's body. Well, this is because Jin So-woon's magic resistance is 90 points. The mage tries to attack with a stronger spell. On the contrary, Jin closes the back with his enemy and uses the martial arts of the fists for the first time, and it was a straight KO. Jin himself is also surprised because he didn't have high hopes, thinking it was a martial art that always loses. He perceives that the martial arts he uses also gets powerful as his internal energy increases. Now, only 7 players remain on this battlefield, and Jin starts walking after taking the loots of his new prey. He thinks that now that Nam Sa-guang is dead, all the guys who were just watching are crawling out. He feels that it's going to be a long night. He smirks as he can now at least imitate the old man's lightness skill. 1 hour later, he hides himself using the cloak. Jin hears someone yelling. As he looks down, he sees a person with a long sword. His name is Stanko, and he openly tells everyone to show themselves. At that moment, another person sneak attacked him with an arrow, but Stanko blocks it with his sword. Stanko shouts, telling the person to show himself. Who is it? Jin wonders. Although Stanko kind of knows who he is dealing with, since according to him, the only one who can imbue an arrow with this much aura and shoot it like this is Jurakwana. Do you know me? Jurakwana asks. Stanko replies that it's obvious because the fame of the divine archer, Jurakwana, is already a legend among the mercenaries. Stanko offers Jurakwana to join hands to first take out Jin So-woon, the person who killed Nam Sa-guang. Jurakwana gets down from the tree while Stanko introduces himself as a mercenary. Additionally, he says that, even if he doesn't look like it, but he is quite a well-known mercenary in their guild. He assures that Jurakwana definitely won't regret his offer. Stanko smirks, as he thinks that Jurakwana's head must be empty, because an archer shouldn't come this close of a stranger. He then tries to kill Jurokwana, but the next moment, Stanko is killed by a one-shot arrow. Instantly, Stanko became a loot containing life force for Jin to acquire, so he also comes down from the tree, thinking that, with only 6 people left, every single person's vitality is important. Jurokwana looks back, and it startles Jin for a moment, because he thinks that maybe his cloak of concealment isn't working properly. Wasn't he just an archer? Does he have some ability I don't know about? Jin wonders, and he starts swearing thinking about it, but then he gets relieved when the archer starts to walk while saying that he doesn't want the items since he assumes the items will be trashy. Jin sits down on the ground, thinking that it seems Jurokwana will be his next opponent. After that, Jin is on the run as the restricted zone is shrinking faster. Now there are a total of 6 survivors left. Running for a while, the restricted zone stops and only a wide open area is left. Jin is standing in the open ground and thinks that if he encounter any opponent here, it'll draw too much attention from the others. As he is thinking, this rain of arrows comes towards him. He quickly jumps and somehow dodges them. Jin gets that this is a magic spell cast with precise aim at him. However, Jin can't understand that how did they know his location to attack, is he should be invisible after wearing the night cloak. In the meantime, another wave of arrows is coming towards him. This time, the number is huge, higher than the before, so avoiding them is impossible. So Jin takes a punching stance and depends on his internal energy and perform the Mujul Quan Chapter 1 Extreme Straight Punch. Jin's attack was successful and he destroyed all the arrows. Jin gets impressed seeing his own strength. He then leaps in the sky to figure out the location of the enemy. The enemy is a guy hiding behind a tree. C gets scared to see the strength of Jin. The magic he used, all of his mana, is neutralized by a single punch. Jin looks around and finds the hiding mage. But at that time, an assassin attacks the mage from behind and stabs him in the heart. The mage gets shocked and asked, how did his happen, as he didn't sense any presence. You should have saved some mana for detection magic or a barrier. For an assassin like me, erasing my presence is a piece of cake, the assassin says, and kills the mage. Only 5 survivors are left. Jin gets down and the assassin says his name. Jin asked him if he knew him. The assassin replies, of course. Aren't you the one who eliminated Nam Sagwang, who was a public enemy? How could I not know? All the remaining survivors are probably desperate to catch you. Hearing this, Jin takes a fighting stance and rushed towards the man. The assassin also rushed to kill Jin with his daggers. The speed of the assassin is much faster compared to Jin. He makes the first hit and cuts Jin's hand. The assassin tells that he is tougher than he looks. Jin uses internal energy to cover himself, or else he would have been sliced right through. Jin gets that this guy is strong. The assassin looks at Jin and says, your death is only a matter of time. I've never failed an assassination in such darkness. Jin has only faced mages. This is the first time he is dealing with an assassin. However, after hearing the word darkness, an idea comes in his mind. In the meantime, the assassin begins his attack. He suddenly disappeared, and again appears behind Jin and cuts him into 2. However, this is just an after image of Jin. Jin uses his night cloak to make him invisible and gets behind the assassin. Jin praises the assassin for having an impressive stealth technically. The assassin is nervous as he can't see Jin anywhere. Jin caught the 2 hands of the assassin and breaks them. The assassin shouts in pain. He begs Jin to leave him and make him his companion. However, it's of no use. Jin ignores him and finishes the assassin. Now, only 4 survivors are left. Jin absorbed the life energy of 2 people and used the healing scrolls they had to recover. There was such a big commotion, so he decides to quickly loot and escape the area. Jin gets a skill book from the assassin's chest. Scroll of Spirit-Wielding Illusion. Step. You can create your own clones to fight alongside you. The number of clones, 15, proportional to your internal energy. Jin quickly learns the skill and moves on to loot the mage's chest. From there, he got magic book called Carmen's Eye is said to be the highest grade detection magic, able to see through all stealth. However, Jin's circle was too low, so he couldn't learn it. As Jin is standing and looking at the Carmen's Eye book at that time, an arrow comes flying towards him. He somehow sensed it and moves his head. The arrows only scars his face. Jin thinks that it's Jordana's doing. As he turns, he sees a huge ice block is approaching. It is too late for him to dodge. He focuses all of his internal energy to his fist and uses Mujal Quan technique to break the ice. Jin then gets that this is a joint attack as two different kinds of attack come at once. At that instant, a knight in golden armor comes from behind and attacks. Jin also dodged it and back off. The three survivors are teaming up against him. The knight tells Jin that he is impressive, but his luck ends here. King of Kursan, Demon King's right hand, Divine Archer. Just the last four survivors are about to face off.